let's just like put things straight. Let's just let's just put it to bed here with like actual information, because all we have right now is Scurry's book, what Solo has said, but then everyone else has really dodged the issue, which is like,
well, everybody's moved on and nobody wants to talk about it. Like, like I'd love to hear what Lil has to say. She was a captain. I'd love to see what Christy Rampone has to say. Like, they were the leaders, like in the dressing room. Like, what do you mean it was splintered? Do I care? I don't. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I'm just curious. Like,
I'm like, if you like, I mean, look, apparently Hope needs to, put out a documentary on Netflix, and apparently Brian needed to talk about it in her book. That opens the door to talk about it and stuff like that. I wasn't there, but I do have my opinions from the things I've heard and everything, and the things I saw, and it was unacceptable and embarrassing.
All right, well, hold there. All right, so we're gonna get there. All right, so let's go through the goals real quick.
Okay.
I have looked for like quality video. The video I'm gonna play is from Fox, and it's good quality. The camera work isn't the best, but also for whatever reason they put the goals out of order. So this is the goals here. So they did a little thing before I forget which World Cup this is, but they did like a top 50 moments. It was quite a cool little thing. But obviously this is one of them. So they kind of spin it a little bit as like, oh, Marta, but really the story is not Marta here. So I'm going to jump to the goals because they're all out of order. So here's the first goal. The U.S. goes down 2-0 at half with a red card. So they're down a person. But this is the opening goal, and I think they're going to go quick here. So I'll try to work around this, but. This is one of those where when you see this goal, it seems like, oh man, like y'all are not on the same page. Like, and
it's communication. That ball should have just Bryce should have just been able to eat this up, and it's just communication. And this goes to, is there a disconnect because you haven't been playing together? So is there a timing issue? Is there like a lack of communication here and everything like that? And that's what it looks like to me. Like, this should be Bry's ball. Yeah. And that's the bottom line.
Yeah. And I think this is every coach's nightmare when it comes to change the goalkeeper, that something awkward like this happens where it's like, yeah, y'all don't.
But I'm gonna tell you, I remember the feeling. And you felt this sense of this is going downhill.
Yeah.
And when watching the game, I felt incredibly bad for Bry because of all the drama around it. And I'm sorry, I don't know if the clips are in here, but watching, Hope's face on the bench and knowing the type of atmosphere that created on the bench and everything, and they kept panning to her, and just you could feel it from here, from the U.S., and you just felt like it was just like, this isn't going to go well, because you could feel the energy from the team going, like, it was like almost it's like the two splintered groups, like, see, I told you so type of thing, instead of, okay, guys, we got to squash everything and we got to win this game. Let's all come together. So go ahead.
I told you so later, but yeah, right now. Yeah. So I get that it was in some sense great TV, because it was, again, one of the more dramatic things within the national team, goes for all the wrong reasons. However, like you're saying, it was kind of feeding in the wrong direction. It just kept going. So they're down 1-0. The U.S. ended up losing this game 4-0, but the second goal, again, this is out of order here. The second goal, I don't think there's a deflection here, but basically we've got some lateral movement from the top of the 18. You've got a little bit of a runner here. It might get tapped, I don't know, but you can tell she gets a palm on it. But I think all the movement here, I'll play it in real time here because
play it in real time.
Yeah. It's something that, it's a bit of a soft goal. I think we can all look at that and say that. I think the first goal is kind of like a bit comical for me, for Solo to be like, why would have saved it? It's like, that's not like a shot. That's like things.
It's an own goal deflection. Yeah. I mean, the argument Solo can make is that we would have been on the same page and the communication would have been, but you don't know. Here, I think that is that Piercy. I think that is that Rampone.
Maybe, I can't tell.
I think, it looks like it. I think that their far post is covered. I think she's only going near post, and I think that Bry knows she should make the save. Now, if Solo wants to say she would have made the save, look, you can always say that, but then there could have been other saves that Bry made that you wouldn't have made, so you don't know. right? But I think the biggest thing that comes back to this is the atmosphere around the team. It was a head down losing atmosphere, and you helped create that. So I'm sorry, but that's just as dysfunctional as bad saves. Yep. So, it's just as toxic. So it's more toxic. So I'm sorry, I just don't agree with it. So yes, I think that this is by far, and I'm sure Bri will tell you, not the greatest game she's ever had in her life.
Well, no, she's been pretty open about that. But I think this is a perfect game to like help people zoom out a bit, because we can look at the goal and actually looking at the replay again. Like I think she actually does get deflected, but you look exclusively at just the moments on the field, you might come to some conclusion. But when you zoom out any amount, just a little bit, and you think about like, well, this was happening, and the first goal was this, but also the team stuff, and then this is that, like these sort of moments start to make a lot more sense. Mm-hmm. And it starts to like, oh, actually.
You look at and you say they're not playing as a team defensively. They're disjointed defensively. Like even on the last goal, you had pressure cover. You didn't really have pressure cover balance properly. I think that, I think there should have been better pressure on the ball. It's not a difficult shot from the top of the box. Let her have that shot 99% of the time. Bri has that save, but at the second time, if that was Piercy, I'm not sure who that was, but why are you so deep? So you even allow that runner to kind of screen Bri and everything. Like, why is that run so deep in the box? So we can pick apart the defense here as well, but I think that comes down to the team just not being together, playing. So just let them play, else we're going to be here for hours. This is, I think, in today's game, I think Bri's in no man's land in this. I think she comes out, she has to set. Okay, this goes back to old school. Like, don't keep coming because you're going to get the ball passed by you as well. She comes out, she makes herself big, but your distance from the player is so much right now that the goal is too big behind you, and she just tucks it in away. Bri's got to close space faster, so she's at about 3 yards closer to the player. She's too far here, right? So her timing coming off her line on this is way too slow. And everything. Again, disjointed. Where's the defense?
Yeah.
Where's the organization? So
I'd have to go through the full game, which is actually on YouTube. But that's a very odd setup here. Like, why is she there with the ball? What has happened here? So absolutely, I think the fourth goal, it's probably like maybe not only the goal of century minute goal ever. I don't know. This is a wild goal to see from Marta. Who else? But she embarrasses our entire team here. And again, it's just kind of a mess. It kind of goes through scurry a bit, but also it's 3-0. They're down a person. The game's kind of winding down.
Everybody's getting beat here.
Everyone's going to roll. I mean, like from an objective standpoint, that's an awesome goal. I think
it is, but you've got no cover and balance on Marta. She does the flick one. It's a gorgeous goal by Marta, but she just destroyed our defense. And then Bri, heels back, waits not forward. She's on her heels. She gets beat. The ball goes under her. So it's just, I'm sure nobody wants to talk about it because everybody wants to forget it.
Yeah.
I want to forget it.
Well, yeah. And I think this game is actually a great example to like completely put the technique and tactics, not maybe all the way off to the side, but pretty far off the side, and really look at like, hey, look, like the real core of the problem here. Like what is that seed? It's not, oh, she didn't find her set position. Like that is not the issue here. Like there are things way, way more important here.
And I think you see here and that's why I said watching that game, I remember the feeling of watching that game and knowing all the drama that was going on, and just watching it was the energy, and it was the team was splintered and disjointed, and it wasn't together. And that to me is more apparent, and that's what fed into the defense out of position to Bri letting up soft goals and for Bri's talent, and and Marta having a heyday like that. It was the perfect storm in a sense.
Yeah, truly. Yeah. It's not just one thing that's gone wrong. It's a lot. So after the game, which is the thing I've paused you on quite down, but we'll get to. So I've got the full quote here, or most of the quote here, at least the start of it. someone someone doing their job asked Solo, what they thought of the decision, and she says it was a wrong decision. And I think anybody that knows anything about the game knows that. There's no doubt in my mind I would have made those saves. And the fact of the matter is that it's not 2004 anymore. The last things here, I'll let you roll on this, but the last things here moving forward is Solo was removed from the team after, in the documentary, she said how they took the whole team and put them in a circle and they all sat down and they just went around the circle or whoever wanted to talk and just list out all the awful things that they did not like about. So I don't know. I mean, I'd be curious to hear from the other side because Scurry does not mention this in the book directly. She does mention a couple points of some dialogue, but even that was kind of summed up with something of like someone saying, how the F could you have done that, and storming out of the room. Like there's clearly both sides are in agreement that people are upset, and even Solo has come out afterwards pretty immediately saying that like she wasn't trying to target Scurry. I don't know how you couldn't feel that is at least somewhat targeted, and I think she kind of knows that, but it sounds like her frustration had boiled to such a high level that she's just like kind of scorched earth, like whatever, I'm going to say what I want and roll over. Mm-hmm. And then things are pushing back against her. So she gets removed from the team. She's not with them for the third place game. She doesn't travel home with the team. Mm-hmm. Afterwards, I mean, like I said, not much comes.
Welcome to the Keeper Institute podcast. My name is Tori Corsaro. I'm a strength and conditioning and goalkeeper coach here at the Keeper Institute and your host for today's show. The Keeper Institute is a unique goalkeeper training facility in New Jersey aimed at developing better goalkeepers and better people. On this podcast, we will be discussing all things goalkeeping, character development, and more. No, I just did it. It started.
Oh. Welcome back to another episode of the Keeper Institute podcast.
Change of scenery. You're in Jill's kitchen, and I'm in Jill's office. How does it make you feel?
I'm uncomfortable.
You feel a little bit uneasy?
No, I trust that you're going to take over the helm well.
Yeah, I wouldn't disrespect your office, not this place.
No, and it's beautiful now. It's great. Somebody had to be in there. If
exactly.
It wasn't me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, gorgeous. All right. Well, you guys, enough about the office. Although it does look amazing, and if you're watching, you'll get a chance to see that. If you're just listening, use your imagination. It is the end of the year, and we are just so excited to get a chance to kind of recap 2024 with all of you. And who knows, maybe we'll foreshadow a little bit of what we're excited about in 2025. But I can't believe how fast this year has flown by. It has been an exciting year. We've had an opportunity to work with so many amazing goalkeepers and just create amazing relationships and connections with new interns and college players and some pros and so many youth goalkeepers that have come from across our country to come train. And we're just more than anything else grateful that people take their time and their hard-earned money to do that, but also just grateful that we get to do it with so many great people on our staff, because that's what it's all about, the people, right?
Absolutely. I mean, this has been such an incredible year. I think probably one of the most impactful in TKI's history, not because, anything special happened in terms of a new facility or anything like that, but just the different people that we're getting to meet and impact. And we've seen, I think, the most growth in goalkeepers this year. And it finally feels like in our 11 years that, every year we trial and error new things. And it feels like we're really starting to become a well-grouped machine in terms of our methods, our philosophy, bring so much alignment to the way we coach and bring so much alignment in what we coach. I think things are starting to become more clear as we are getting deeper and deeper in the trenches and also expanding the number of people that have an influence over TKI. So it's been pretty exciting.
It really has, which that is just a great segue for what we're going to talk about today, which is just 3 of our most impactful things from 2024 in, the eyes of Jill and myself. And, obviously wouldn't be Jill and I, if it wasn't a list and it wasn't a list of 3. Those are our favorite. Lists of 3 and lists of 5 seem to be our thing. But number 1 is just the encouraging feeling of the fact that our methods that, we've created and the way we're trying to develop goalkeepers really feels like it's starting to stick. And, I'll share personally, a couple weeks ago, I texted Jill after we had this Juniors Plus class, which was an invite-only class for some younger goalkeepers and then some middle school age goalkeepers. And I was like, wow, Jill, I just ran this session. And it was just so incredibly encouraging because a couple of these kids have been coming into TKI for X amount of time. And without being asked, the way they were self-reflecting and the way they were intentional about the session, the way that they took things that I know they had learned in the past, but not necessarily that day, and begun to apply them in a game realistic setting in the session that we were putting on was so cool to see. It's just like, you don't know when learning's happening, but you can almost feel it when it does. And I think that that's something that a lot of our coaches would say they're experiencing with their individuals or goalkeepers that they've worked with in a group for a while now.
Yeah, I think this has been an incredible year for us to develop as coaches and to really start to unravel the way that we specifically talk about goalkeeping. So for example, TKI now, we have our own principles of goalkeeping. We have established what those principles are, those sub principles, and that's how we teach. We don't teach by just a technique. We're working on catching and it has to be done this way. We're working by principles and we're shaping and designing our sessions based on those principles. So how do we define what success looks like in possession, and what do we define as what success looks out of possession, right? Defend the goal, right? Like stop the opponents from scoring. Well, here's our 3 principles that are going to be able to help you to be able to accomplish that goal. And then how do I set the session? How do I design a session that's going to allow for goalkeepers to solve those problems in a divergent way, right? So Tori could solve it one way, I could solve it another way. And then we're continually putting these goalkeepers in situations where they're having to use their tools and their skill sets to be able to be adaptable problem solvers. And I think because of that, we have really helped and support goalkeepers to understand the game more themselves and more about themselves, right? So like, I know I'm quick and I can be super preventative in this circumstance. I might not be as preventative in maybe say protecting the goal area, but I know myself and I do that well and I'm going to play to my strengths, but I also know I'm going to ask for more support when it's protecting the goal area, right? And the more I think as coaches that we can help players understand the game and themselves more, the more beneficial it's going to be for that player in the long term. It might be, a little messy in training to begin with, but in the long term, they're going to have a greater understanding of the game, which I think if you poll a lot of coaches in our country, what's wrong with American goalkeepers is they'll say they're robots and that they don't understand the game. And so we've taken that feedback and we've tried to figure out how do we then help to create more autonomous, flexible problem solvers. And we do that through a multitude of different ways that encourage goalkeepers to communicate with each other and ask questions and be more curious about how they can interpret the game specific to their skill sets, and how do they fit their skill set within their team strategy. And this year we've seen explosive growth, and it's been fun to just like stand back and watch and just stand back and watch all these goalkeepers just thrive. And not only the goalkeepers, but the coaches as well. Like, it has been remarkable to see the growth and I say this in a very non-condescending way, but like to see the growth in like Kieran this year, who has just been like, I'm so hungry to learn and I want to be better and I want to support goalkeepers' growth in their journeys. And here's how I'm trying it, and like trying to collaborate more, or even like Cam really stepping out to talk more about the game and help us now that she's in her journey to play again. It's been really helpful to be able to have those moments of collaborate and conversation. And it's been so fun. It's so hard to coach this way, but it's so fun.
Yeah, it is. It's just so cool. Like when you see things take fold and you get a chance to watch goalkeepers do things that maybe they weren't doing a year ago. And, it's a testament to them too, and them coming in here and working and being willing and vulnerable, because it's a vulnerable experience to be like, I might go to training and save 5 balls today, but maybe I'm learning in that, and I think that we've had a lot of people who have bought into it and invested in themselves in that way, and it has been a lot of fun. And that's why we do it, because we love people and we love goalkeeping, and helping people while doing something we love is the best. Can't beat it.
And I think too, Tori, what else I really love about it is like the way that we coach is reflected in our beliefs and our values, right? So like, for example, we ask goalkeepers to be brave, try new things, be creative, explore, and we remind people that learning isn't linear, right? That you're not just going to keep getting better and better, or else, ultimately you would never need to train anymore, right? And I think we reflect that core value and those beliefs within our own coaching as well, right? Like, hey, we're going to try something new that we've never done maybe outside the box a little bit, but we're going to see if it helps. We're going to see if it supports you. And I think, you and I and all the coaches at TKI are so willing to hear feedback and listen, at the end of all of our sessions. What did you like? What did you not want to do ever again? How can we change it to meet your needs, right? Even within a session, we might say that. How can we change this to suit your needs? And I think that, I don't know, there's just something about like acting in accordance to your values and your beliefs, and being the first person to step up and be like, this is how we want you guys to be brave. And so, you know what? I'm going to be brave today.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fun and it's enjoyable.
Speaking of fun, number 2 on the list is we have gone bi-coastal. I'm not going to lie to you, that doesn't feel like a real word to me, but you used it, so I just assumed that it was. I just love it. 1, it's a chance to go out to San Diego, so who doesn't want that? It's so sunny and lovely. But 2, we get to work with a population of goalkeepers that we just typically wouldn't get the chance to. And starting our year out last year there was awesome, because then some of those goalkeepers then came to our summer camp or came for a clinic and a long weekend, and we were able to just kind of make relationships with athletes that we might not have had the chance to otherwise, besides on social or through this very podcast. And we just want to help as many people as we can. And, there's training all over the world, realistically. So the fact that you would choose to train with us just always means so much to us. And getting a chance to do that with more people is always something we look forward to.
Maybe people don't know the backstory of how we ended up doing some stuff in San Diego, but most of you guys who listen would know that my sister-in-law is Kaylin Sheridan. So we had the opportunity to draft her at Sky Blue, and Marie and I coached her, and then invited her to stay for pre-season or off season, and just a relationship emerged from that. Not only between Kaylin and Marie and I, but also Maria's sister Dom, who married Kaylin. So now she's like part of the family.
Relationship really emerged.
Yes, it really did. And she played for Gotham, which was great because, Dom and Kaylin were here year round. And then she decided that she was going to stretch herself and challenge herself and go to San Diego, which was really difficult for the family because we wanted her to be here. But we totally were in support of her new endeavor and her new challenge that she felt was going to be right for her career, to go to San Diego. And so a couple years ago, Kaylin asked me to train her while we were on family vacation in Florida. And I was like, cool, let's invite some other friends. So Katie Lund came, and Aubrey Kingsbury and Mandy Hott, and it just turned into this like goalkeeper camp preseason training, and it kind of like took off. And now we're like, great, we want to help, pay for some of the things for these pros, and like, let's do a camp that can kind of balance it out beforehand. And now we get to work with this coming up next week, 150 goalkeepers that we might not otherwise get to meet and get to support and get to see the smiles on their face when not only do they get to meet some of the people that they watch on a weekly basis in the pro game, but be influenced by them, to hear some of their journeys, to hear some of their feedback and their insights about their career. And it has just opened the door to so many cool and unique new relationships that we've seen the impact of the TKI team now across the country. And it's fun to be able to nurture those relationships throughout the year.
Sure is. And look, we're headed back. By the time that people are listening to this, we'll be packing our bags and heading that way. So if you haven't signed up, I mean, at this point, you might have just mere hours to do so, but why not? Well,
Yeah, we're almost sold out.
We are getting very close. So by the time you listen, we might be sold out. But just know that we'll be back. All right, number 3, and I'll be honest with you, this might be my favorite, and it's like just one of those things in coaching that remind you why you do it, or like a reason you do it. And this year, I think we've had a lot of goalkeepers that have achieved their dream or like one of their big goals, whether it be to make their varsity team, to make a new club team, or to sign their first professional contract. And getting an opportunity to work with those goalkeepers and be a small part of their journey is very, very special. And it's something that we'll never take for granted. And these goalkeepers, they work really, really hard to do that. They're training tirelessly. They're in the gym. They're asking for feedback. They're watching game film. So to know the hours they put into it, and to know that it's probably a dream they've had for themselves from a young age, it just feels very, very cool and inspiring to watch them kind of let it all come full circle.
Tori, we talk a lot about it at camp, right? Like, with the staff before camp, and we have these like little huddles, and we give like a pump up talk about how important these moments are. And one of the things I always get to talk about is we're here because of someone else's influence in our life, right? And like no more than my college coach that helped me so much, like believed in me, equipped me. We're all here. Like TKI is a thing because of that coach and his influence in my life, and because he was a teacher, and he was a math teacher, and he was my goalkeeper coach in college. And not only did he inspire me, but he equipped me with the tools. And I attribute so much of my career as a player and as who I am as a coach and who I am as a person back to his influence in my life. And I think that we are privileged now to be able to help people just the way he did, help me in my career. He was like one of the first people to say like, hey, you should pursue playing professionally. And I didn't even know what that meant. Like, I had no idea. Like, I just knew I didn't want to go back to school, and I didn't really want to use my biology degree. And he was like, you can keep playing soccer. And I was like, yes, that is exactly what I want to do.
Sign me up.
Yes. And I remember him giving me like videotapes on VHS of like Arsenal, and just like fueling my passion for the sport. And there's no better job in the world than being able to do that for other people. And, it's not like we know all the answers, and it's not like we're taking credit for anything that they've ever done. Mm-hmm. It is just such a privilege to be on people's journey with them, and just to be there to support and listen and, provide some insight, or just a moment to say, hey, you are not alone in this. Like, literally the best goalkeepers in the world feel the same way as you do. And just those reminders, mentally, or just to let people know like, hey, we got your back, we're in your corner, and we support you. There is like literally no better feeling than that, being able to help and support people.
I hear you. I think that a lot of people who know me too are always shocked when I say this, but the feeling, I didn't think there'd be anything I loved more than playing. Like, I loved playing soccer so much, and I loved being a goalkeeper, and I love coaching more than that. And I really didn't think, I was like, okay, I know I like coaching. I know I'm going to love coaching as a career, but I didn't know that, to me, I think being a coach is even better than getting to play. And it's that the way it feels when these goalkeepers get an opportunity to kind of live out their dreams or become proud of themselves. They don't even have to like find some giant accolade or sign some contract. It's just, wow, I got better, or like my training or my development through being a goalkeeper has helped me in my life make these kinds of decisions. So I think it's such an incredible privilege that we have, and I share that same sentiment that you said. It's great.
Yeah, I feel like this has been a fantastic year for us, like so inspiring. Like, we are on this quest, this like journey every day to understand more about the game, more about helping people, more about teaching, more about supporting people. And, I think in the beginning of my coaching career, I felt very burnt out with like the way we were teaching. And now the methods that we've used and the collaboration and, more coaches contributing to TKI, to me, it's so enjoyable. It is a lot of work and it can be a lot sometimes, but it's so much more enjoyable. Like I genuinely wake up every day being like, great, what can I learn? I'm so curious. Like, what else can I learn that's going to help an 8-year-old, understand more about their character or more about regulating their emotions? Or what am I going to learn today about body orientation and receiving so that I can help some of those NWSL pros set them up for success in possession and to be able to accomplish some of those objectives? And I think we are in a really unique situation, Tori, because, I was saying this to someone the other day, is like, I love working with pros. It's fun. It's great. I think that's like a lot of people's ambition in this life, is to work with the best athletes in the world. But I don't ever want to not work with 8-year-olds and 10-year-olds on their first day of training, or 13-year-olds who are going through the grind and really wrestling with their identity outside of soccer, or wrestling with managing the pressure of these situations. To me, like, it doesn't matter what level people are performing at or what they aspire, the ambitions. It is so fun and unique and enjoyable to just meet people where they are and, see them flourish in confidence in the field and off the field as well.
I couldn't agree more, Jill. Just always dropping bombs.
Okay, I'm gonna do the question of the day today.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
And it's a two-parter. What was one of your most memorable? What was one of your most memorable days of TKI this year, and what are you looking forward to in 2025?
One of my most memorable days, I think it was probably, the select camps, sometimes they run together, but it was like after one of the select camps, and in particular, it might have been the very last one, because that's when like a lot of people leave, like some of our interns will go, and like our college players will go, and we have a lot of people that come in and out throughout like different times of the year just based on their schedules. And I think that like the huddles and the close up of people leaving is obviously sad, and you and I both hate goodbyes, but just seeing everyone kind of go around and like be upset or be like, I can't wait to see you when we play you, and just watching kind of the relationships that form through there is like one of my most memorable things, because not only are those relationships like from staff members like, oh, okay, like I've just gained a new friend, or like I play against you in conference, I can't wait to see you, and like I know you got my back and you're going to be watching. But also like recently I've heard the kids be like, oh, so and so who's from Florida, like we have a Snapchat message or like a group message, like I heard they're coming again for select camp. And just watching the relationships that form, I think is really special.
Yeah, I'm going to echo that, but I'm going to give a specific circumstance that I remember is I love the internship. It's one of my favorite things that we do, because we get to do life with people for 8 weeks, and we get to know people on a real basis, and we get to meet them right where they're at. And I saw this summer, we presented at the IGCC, right? Mm-hmm. And I saw Maddie accomplish something, Maddie Prohaska. She had never spread before coming to TKI, and she was struggling with it for the first, month of her internship. And this is like, I guess maybe mid-June or something, we went to the IGCC, and we're in training, and we're not working on spread necessarily. We're just in a session, and she did it. To see her reaction to her spread was incredible. To see everyone else's reaction to Maddie doing it was even better, because everybody knew how important it was for her to be able to accomplish that goal, and everyone knew how hard she was working to accomplish it. But then if you go a little bit further, we watched her first game of the year, and it was against Clemson. At that time was a really good opponent, and she spread, and I have goosebumps. My full body is in goosebumps right now talking about this, because she spread. It was great. It wasn't technically perfect, but it was perfect for her. And to be able to see like, wow, not only one, I'm so proud of her and her resilience and her bravery, but two, it was so cool that like so many people had such an influence in that one singular moment, whether it was, a long time ago when we talked about what the phases were and how to spread immediate, directional, and how it's grown over time, but also how we implement that in training. And it was just like such a proud moment. Like, we're making a really great impact on at TKI on people. And, I'm really proud to say that I work at TKI.
Snaps to that, girl.
All right. What are you looking forward to in 2025?
I'm looking forward to so many things. Is it just TKI? Or is it?
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah. Let's just, or personal or TKI. It doesn't matter.
Okay. I'll stick with TKI. I'm very excited for that, like, May, June grind. I just think that, in particular, in the beginning of the summer, like, everyone is just so excited to like be back and be together. And sometimes I can't come here because I can't get work done because there's so many people, but
Yeah.
so enjoyable. Like, every session you have, someone's wanting to help you and like assist you, and we're all about collaboration here. So I think the more that we can have people here, it also is like having a full house. It's fun. It is just always fun to step into the doors and know that you're going to get to work alongside and collaborate with people that you truly, truly care about. So,
Yeah.
June.
I think there's three things that make TKI really special. You hit on one of them, is the people. We're just, the people that come through our doors are just really special, best human beings, whether it's day one goalkeepers, the parents of those goalkeepers, the coaches, everybody's just really special. And the people is what make TKI what it is. It's not the walls or the building.
Right.
I think the second thing is the environment makes TKI really special. And the last thing is our education. And that's what I'm really excited about. I'm excited because every year we put a little focus onto something new in our industry and to set us apart from the traditional way of coaching, more toward a more contemporary or modern way of coaching, which is evidence-based, science-based. And, a few years ago, we did more 1v1s and we did some in possession. This last year has been understanding more about teaching. And I'm not sure what 25 holds and where we're going to go, but I think we have so many people who are on board and want to contribute and want to learn and grow together to make TKI even better. I'm so curious to see at the end of 2025 what we've come up with in terms of, whether it's more presentations on passing detail or scanning or more principles to add to our list or a reframing of some of those principles. But I'm just excited about us moving the needle forward in goalkeeper education.
Absolutely. I can't wait. It's going to be a good year, you guys. We're super excited. We're never not excited, really. But besides the point, 2024 has been great. Thank you so much if you're listening. And if you've been listening, we appreciate you and we hope you know that. And if there's anything we can ever do to support you on your journey or there's topics you want to hear, again, we cannot wait for 2025. Maybe give you some of those topic ideas that you throw our way. And if not, we'll find something to talk about.
Boom. We love you guys so much and we want to support you. Reach out, please. You have needs. Ask for your needs to be met. If you take nothing else away from this podcast, ask for your needs to be met. People want to help you.
You heard the woman. We'll catch you later.